to the K.O.E Nation, folks, for the knife review and tool review stream of extreme. Folks, it is I, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands. One damn handsome man, if I do say so myself. You can, of course, find me right here at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter-X as well. We are also broadcasting live on Facebook on Big Buckin' Empire. We're also going live on YouTube on Hazard Analysis. Folks, this is a simulcast, the likes of which has never been seen. Now, let me make sure you're just getting every beautiful note of extreme. A simulcast, the likes of which has never been seen. Now, let me make sure you're just getting every beautiful note of extreme. You know what? Yes, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. That was a line so nice, you had to hear it twice. So, folks, we're going to be doing something a little different because we're having ourselves a fun Saturday night. Throughout the evening, I've got several knives I'm going to be reviewing, such as the Spyderco Harpy and many, many more to come yet tonight. But we're also going to get into some of my older reviews while I get everything set up for some of the newer reviews that are about to hit. So without further ado, all you beautiful people, we're going to start off with a couple of reviews. One that's one of my most popular knife reviews, then one that's my favorite. It's back to back. The first one is the Cold Steel Raja 3, which is really one of my favorite knives. There's so many other knives I want to like more, but this one I just keep coming back to. The other one is one that I bought in Colorado when I was with my daughter. So it's always going to have a very special place right here. So without further ado, let's get right in to the first knife review of the evening, and that will be the Cold Steel Raja 3. Beautiful, beautiful blade. But let's get right into it, folks. Cold Steel. Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E Nation Knife Reviews. Just like so many of you folks, I am on the never-ending journey to find that perfect blade. We're going to grade every blade on a 5-star scale as a tool, as a self-defense implement, and as a knife overall. Also, would we replace this knife if we lost it, and should you add it to your collection? Most important of all, without further ado, let's get to this knife review. How we doing, folks? Welcome one and all to the K.O.E Nation for this very special knife review of the Raja 3. I truly, truly love this knife. Folks, this is a knife I carried for, I'm going to say, about 9 months. I'd say I've carried this knife for about 9 months. It's been an excellent, excellent knife. I've been utilizing it for, basically it's a great rope cutter and a great box cutter. Whenever you start the cut right here and start pulling through, it really gets through quite a few things. So I've been using this as a work knife. I just cleaned it for this review. But yes, there we go. Raja 3. Yes, folks, the Raja 3 knife. Cold steel, as you can see here, cold steel made in Taiwan, AOS OS 10A, if you will. Now, to me, what I love about this knife is, A, quick and easy to open. No problems with that. It seems the cold steel triad lock, with the more you open it, in any kind of way, it seems to get a little smoother. So I really am a believer in the triad lock here. Taiwanese knife, this cost me about $60, which is actually a pretty good deal. Now we get to the very interesting part here, the grading of every knife. Because to me, we grade on a 5-star scale here, folks. 5 meaning you have to have this knife before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by, the K.O.E Nation has advised you well. So we're going to grade it on 3 5-star scales and then 2 yes or no questions. So on a 5-star scale, we're going to grade this as a tool, as a self-defense implement, and as an overall knife. So as a tool, I've beat this knife up. It was on the farm for a considerable amount of time, and it performed. And what it really excelled in is you could dig right into the furrow of where you had planted, because a lot of people don't know that it's two discs that plant a crop. So literally just two discs spinning against each other, and in that mechanism is where the seed gets planted. And so in that furrow, a knife is a perfect tool to dig into that furrow. Now, I usually grip it like this, finger thumb grip like that, but I'm just trying to demonstrate the point. This knife has held up under every condition that I put it under. I'm going to go ahead and say, as a tool, I gotta give it 3.75 on a 5-star scale. 3.75 as no, I'm giving it 4 stars. I'm giving it 4 stars as a tool. Excellent blade here, folks. As a self-defense implement, you gotta really be on exact with your flicking. Let's see. Nice. You can even do it underhand. The Raja 3, excellent self-defense implement. I'm also going to give it 4 stars as a self-defense implement. I mean, obviously, it's got a good enough indentation. Some people might call it a choil. I think this actually just up here is the choil, but let me know in the comments. It's got enough so your fingers won't, drive up the knife, but to me, anyways, it's just almost too small, almost. But as a self-defense implement, it utilizes the amazing Emerson Wave Open, which I'm going to show you right here. So yeah, the Emerson Wave, in my opinion, is something that is very overlooked, because there's a lot of places that have some kind of legal restriction on most knives. Like a good example, like there's some states where that's illegal. Just that little finger flip, that's illegal. The Emerson Wave, though, you're utilizing, there is no mechanism. It's just you finding a novel way to open it. So I really appreciate that. So this is 4 stars as a self-defense implement. As an overall knife, I mean, you're hard-pressed to find problems with it. Maybe some people with the kukri blade here might have a problem sharpening it, but I think with a little extra training, it'll do quite well. So to me, as an overall knife, I'm also going to give it 4 stars. Basically, this is a 4-star, 4 out of 5 stars, however you want to look at it. There's just no way to really dispute or deny it. This thing is a workhorse, it's a tank. I've used and abused it, and it doesn't, I've carried it for 9 months, and I've used it for just about everything you can imagine. I've used it as a pry bar, and it's still showing amazing it will be a knife that I will keep in my collection for years, because now the 2 yes or no questions are: if I were to lose this knife, will I replace it? And should you add this knife to your collection? And the answer is unequivocally yes. Yes to both. I would definitely replace this if I were to ever lose it. And I would also definitely recommend you add this particular knife to your collection if this is something that, if it fills the holes that you need, then yes, this would be a knife I would definitely recommend. So folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us for this very special review of the Cold Steel Raja 3. God bless every last one of you. I hope all of you make it back here to the K.O.E. Nation. Happy, healthy, much the wiser, folks. God bless. Travel well. one and all to the K.O.E Nation Knife Reviews. Just like so many of you folks, I am on the never-ending journey to find that perfect blade. We're going to grade every blade on a 5-star scale as a tool, as a self-defense implement, and as a knife overall. Also, would we replace this knife if we lost it, and should you add it to your collection? Most important of all, without further ado, let's get to this knife review.
Welcome one and all folks to the K.O.E Nation for a very special knife review of the SE6. Folks, I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E. You can of course find me at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. And folks, I decided to take my new SE knife hiking in glorious, glorious Colorado, USA. I gotta say, folks, this thing is really living up to its reputation as a sharpened pry bar. Just the second I touched this, I knew, okay, this is up there with the Tops Tom Brown tracker in terms of steel quality and its ability to hold up to any kind of, oh, the sun's coming out, any kind of hard use. So, folks, because there's more people hiking up here in this glorious, glorious place here, we're going to grade this knife on a couple of 5-star scales. 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. We're going to grade it as a knife, as a self-defense implement, as a tool, and whether I would replace this blade once if I lost it, and if you should add this to your collection. In terms of a self-defense implement, 5 stars. I'm sorry, like there's nothing that's lacking on this blade. In terms of tool, also 5 stars, because God almighty, there's so many things you can do with this, from fire starting to chopping wood to all kinds of things. In terms of an overall knife, this is the sheath it came with. Excellent, excellent construction. Even the clip is very well put together. I tried as hard as I could to rip it off of me, and it came off of me before this clip actually bent. So yes, as a knife, I'm going to give it 4.25 on a 5-star scale. Would I replace this knife if I were to lose it? Yes, absolutely. This really hits all the, checks all the boxes for me. Should you add this knife to your collection? For most of you, I think the SE4 would probably be a slightly better option. The SE6 is just perfect for me and all of my varying uses. But for some of you, the SE4 might be the way to go. So folks, all that being said, thank you for joining me for this very special knife review. God bless every last one of you. Travel well. And a little addendum. I decided to take a little dip in the whitewater rapids, and I gotta say, the knife and sheath stayed in perfectly while I made that planned ascent through the whitewater rapids and the rocks until I basically just jumped out, basically like James Bond and John Wick, right, kiddo? No. It was totally awesome. It was the greatest of all time. And Essie, your knife sheath gets a 5-star in my book. So that is the addendum to this SE knife review. God bless all y'all. Travel well.
Beautiful stuff, folks. Me out in beautiful Rocky Mountain National Park, Colorado. Now we're going to pause that for just a little bit because we'll get back to some of those recorded reviews, but we're also going to get into some reviews tonight of some knives I've been putting off, and some that need to be done here in studio. There's some that can be done out in the wide world, but these need to be done here in studio in a more elegant manner. And this one especially. And you folks have indeed arrived here at the KOE Nation for this review of the Spyderco Harpy. Yes, this is an iconic knife in a lot of circles. It's also made quite a few appearances in Hollywood, if you know. The most famous of them being the use by Dr. Hannah. Yeah, damn, I fucked that all up. You know, we're going to start from the top. We're going to start from the top, folks. You're here for it. You're here. You get to see how the sausage is made, okay? Because I just wasn't feeling it. The vibe wasn't there. The vibe was not there. Let me take a drink of my tea to keep my singing voice in fetch. Ah, there we go. There we go. Now you get the power. Now you get the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that truly makes the other podcast cower. All right. Also, any Bandit goes, no redos. Oh, you no good son of a so-and-so. And also, Bandit, if you got any knives you want to review, let me know. I'll drop you a StreamYard link. You come on here, man. You're always welcome anytime. But folks, you have indeed arrived here at the KOE Nation for this very special review of the Spyderco Harpy. And yes, it is I, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands, one handsome man if I do say so myself. And we are here today to review this exquisite blade, the Spyderco Harpy. Now, for those who do not know, of course, you can find me, Phil KOE at KOE Nation, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter. But you are here to know a little bit more about this particular blade. Now, there's a lot to be said here. This is a marvelous blade. It's a hawkbill. Some people would call it karambit. Some people would call it hawkbill. I'll go with hawkbill for now. It has the trademark Spyderco thumb open, which so many companies have copied some version of this. Like even just like really small like knives of all kinds of shapes and flavors copy that now. The review of this coming soon. But it's got that Spyderco thumb hole, which has just become synonymous with the company, really. And of course, it's got the Spyderco logo. Now, what I love about this knife, as you can see, like my dad always says, a good carpenter never shows his work. And this is one, there's no real external marks of any kind. There's no pins or divots. The only thing you see is this pocket clip, which you can change to 4 different locations. That is really something. So this is an amazingly well-made knife. This was a Christmas present to myself. And it's Spyderco VG10. And it's made in Seki City, Japan. So this is Japanese steel. And there was a time when that really impressed the American market, just saying it was Japanese steel. And that's all a lot of people needed to hear. Now, what many of you may or may not know, the Spyderco has a little bit of fame or infamy, depending on how you want to look at it. The Spyderco Harpy's most famous appearance was in the both movie and novel Hannibal, the novel by Thomas Harris, the book starring the world famous Sir Anthony Hopkins. Now, the Spyderco Harpy in the book was the serrated version that I have here right now. The one that appeared in the movie for 2 scenes, very briefly, was the non-serrated one because it could make that like shorn effect a little better. And in case you're wondering what knife it is, it's the one where Hannibal against the assassin goes, "Good evening," and then he slices, and then he weirdly enough he puts it between his fingers like this, and they like it's a very visually the scene works where he does this, but like nobody would do this with like even me. I'm like I don't know about, but like in terms of the cinematography, it's like this person is this creature is a predator just so used to knives and blades, it's basically a hawkbill, like raptor talon extension of himself. So in terms of cinematography, the knife really works in that regard. The other scene, the famous scene, is when he has Inspector Patsy all tied up and he goes, bowels in or bowels out? And you as the audience like, wait, what? And then, yeah, because this would be good for a pull cut. Now, we've mentioned where it appears in Hollywood, and it's made a couple of other appearances. I can't remember at the moment. Let me know in the comments if you know. Because the Spyderco police knife just made so many appearances, it would be hard to get them all in one video. But the Spyderco Harpy has sort of that infamy, that little niche of, if you're a Hannibal Lecter fan, this is one of the knives for you. So if you've got somebody in your life that loves the books about Hannibal Lecter, he loves the NBC series about him, he loves anything about Hannibal Lecter or any of the Silence of the Lambs movies, this would be a good gift. You know, whether it be Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, any of those movies from the Silence of the Lambs trilogy, if you will. And no, nobody includes Hannibal Rising in the canon. It's sort of like the Disney sequels. Sorry, but getting back to the knife, really top notch. This is probably one of the finer made blades that I have. Like, if you look really hard, you can see the one pin right there that attaches the blade to the handle, but there's really nothing on the outside here. So like my dad said, a good carpenter doesn't show his work, and there's no work to be seen on the outside here. So a craftsman made this. Now we get to the very difficult part, the grading. For those who don't know, we grade on a 5-star scale. 5 meaning you have to have this before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. So we're going to grade this as a knife, as a tool, as a self-defense implement. It's shelving. And for those new to the show, it's shelving. No. Sorry. Would I replace this knife if I were to lose it? And should you add this knife to your collection as well? So we're going to grade this first as a knife. As a knife overall, this really works for package opening, for a lot of more elegant things. Like, I remember I was at a Christmas celebration and somebody needed to open some Christmas boxes. Well, this is a good way to make sure you don't get too deep. So in terms of being an elegant package opener, excellent. Because of its serrated blade, it's going to be able to get through a lot of things. As a tool, and also just considering how well made it is, I'm going to give this 4 stars. 4 stars as a tool. Sorry, my redneckery doth reveal itself. Now we're going to move on to a self-defense implement. Now, in the movies, this is the kind of knife that, you know, the super baddies use, the bad guys, the serial killers use, because it looks imposing. It does. It looks like a fang or a claw or something, and which is why generally people choose knives like this for movies. The reality is, here, I'm just going to use this barrel here. In terms of self-defense, this blade can't do something. Yeah, this is the easiest motion the human arm can make with a blade. Okay, like that's, so these are good for slashing, but that's it. So in terms of self-defense, I'm going to put this at 2.5 stars. It's right at the middle because the blade is excellent for, like, if you need to do slash work, but there's not, like, actually I'm going to go 2.25 because, yeah, you can't stab with it. Like, you got to do this, which is not nearly as natural as this. So that's the one thing. Now that's a mark against it that I mark against all hawkbill and karambit knives. They are great as tools. they're not great as self-defense implements. The reason that they're constantly used in movies is because they look cool on the camera. I mean, even in Dune, they used karambit knives, even though there's really no, like, you're definitely not going to get the slow blade. Anyways. So I'm going to go with 2.25 as a self-defense implement. Now, as a knife overall, because as a tool, it's 4 stars. As a self-defense implement, it's 2.25. As an overall knife, as much as I love it, it's very like, this is a knife I wear to church. Okay, like if I'm going to church or something, like I'll wear a nice little something like this just so I can open packages and what have you. And it's slim, it's elegant. And so, yeah, if somebody happens to see the pocket clip or something, not a big deal, because it's just a little package opener. In terms of an overall knife, I'm gonna, as much as I want to give it more, I'm gonna give it 3.25 on a 5-star scale. It's still excellent knife, still excellent knife. But we're gonna get into why here in a minute, because this is what I like to call, and what some other YouTubers call, second kind of cool, where this knife is cool to you because it's cool to you. So if you're like a huge fan of the Hannibal Lecter movies, this is almost a must-have for that Hannibal loving fan in your life. If you're not really into that movie series, there's really not, like, this is a great knife, but I don't think you're gonna appreciate it quite as much as like the Hannibal heads, if you will. So I would say, would I replace this knife if I were to lose it? Yes, just because it's a great conversation piece. And like I said, this is when I need to carry something that is elegant and not quite as off-putting as, like, say, my Cold Steel Spartan, because that's a large blade and some people are kind of thrown off by how big it is. But like, to me, it just works. It's a great knife and it can take the beating that my farm requires. This, on the other hand, I would not take this out to the farm. Okay, like, this is, like I said, a elegant dinner carry, times when you're doing more polite society stuff. So I would definitely replace this knife if I were to lose it. Should you add it to your collection if you're somebody that needs a special occasion and somewhat more slimline corporate carry? Yes. If you are looking for a rugged tool to use around the farm, this could certainly do it. But man, it's so finely engineered, you're kind of disrespecting it a little bit. But I really get the feeling this could hold up to a licking and keep on ticking. I've been carrying it on me to different occasions for, I'd say, about 4 months now. And it disappears in your, like, it's so slim you almost you can't feel the weight. So it's excellent in that regard. So I'm going to say, yes, you should add this to your collection with some caveats. But folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, I've been waiting too long to do that. Thank you for joining me for this review of the Spyderco Harpy. Sweet. That was awesome. I've been waiting too long to get into this review, and I got to be here in studio with the suit coat, the whole nine, because this is a lovely, elegant knife. But now that we've gotten into that, folks, we're going to get into 1 or 2 more reviews, because I'm going to get me some ice. I'm going to get me a drink and get ready to settle down here. But we're going to get into some more of these classic reviews of K.O.E. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, okay. Welcome. This one is actually interesting, considering this one came from Japan. This next one is a concept knife from Japan that I think every gardener needs. It's a knife I didn't even know about. It's called the Japanese Hori Hori knife. and it is an ultimate. It is the ultimate gardener knife. Hey, hang on. Hey, David. Well, thank you, you philosopher king, you, for giving KOE Nation a like and a subscribe. Okay, like that is how you attain the rank of philosopher king. And also, Dave, just so you know, the first 1,000 subscribers to the KOE Nation are going to be invited to my inauguration party when I win the presidency of the United States of America on this November. Yes, yes, it is happening. It is happening. I am running for president, and my inauguration party is going to make the Jackson inauguration party look like a debutante ball. It's not even going to be close. Let's see. Bandit, I'm not feeling 100%, but one of the knives I have to review for you suffers from the same issues as that Spyderco. Interesting. Well, hey, if you're not feeling up for it tonight, totally fine. Record it on your phone, send it sometime, or just wait till another time we're going live, and you can come right on, do it anytime, Bandit. That's totally sweet. Now, I'm going to go grab me some ice and get ready because, well, I got a couple of box openings of some True Knife products that I'm looking forward to getting into. Like one's a tactical tweezers, which is weird. I'm curious. Another one's a neat little multi-tool with pliers. So we're going to get into that. But first, got to keep my singing voice in fetch. So let's get right into the Japanese hori blade. Welcome, one and all, to the KOE Nation Knife Reviews. Just like so many of you folks, I am on the never-ending journey to find that perfect blade. We're going to grade every blade on a 5-star scale as a tool, as a self-defense implement, and as a knife overall. Also, would we replace this knife if we lost it, and should you add it to your collection? Most important of all, without further ado, let's get to this knife review.
How we doing, all y'all? And folks, welcome to this knife review of the Hori knife by, I believe that's Adawila. Let me know in the comments how you would pronounce that. But folks, this is a Japanese design. Hori translates roughly into dig. And it's, as you can see, an excellent daily tool for me out here on the farm. The Hori knife, it's, as you can see, just a little over 6-inch, about 7-inch blade. One side, standard blade. The other side, complete serrated edge. And it curves, so it makes an excellent trowel. Like just for any kind of digging. And this ruler on it, I mean, as a farmer, this is just paramount. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Good knife overall. Stuck it for shit. So let's show you what I'm talking about here. So here, you know exactly how deep. I now know I'm not quite 5 inches when I want to pull up. And look at that. Pulls up the entire, other than just a few little stragglers here, almost the entire root rhizosphere. Oh, that's beautiful. I even saw the remnant of the seed that was planted there. So that's just to demonstrate. The funny thing is, you'll be shocked how well that comes back. Now with this knife, it's got a little bit of a hand guard here, but it's mostly so your hand doesn't slip off going into dirt. But it's an excellent tool for a farmer in just about every regard you could imagine. Now, corn is a bit of a persistent plant when it comes to getting it out. But for you folks at home, I'll show you what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is what I use my blades for every day. Is basically this. And once you get under, look at that. Lovely root rhizosphere. I mean, I had to cut a lot off just for this demonstration, but I wanted to just kind of show you the possibilities with this particular blade. So, obviously, this is a tool that will take a licking, keep on ticking, and that's what I like about it. Now we get to the interesting part, the grading. We're going to grade this on a couple of 5-star scales and 2 yes or no questions. So we're going to grade this as on a 5-star scale as a tool, as a self-defense implement, as an overall knife, and whether I would replace this knife if I were to lose it, and whether you should add one to your collection. So, in terms of a tool, this is excellent. This is excellent as a tool. I use it quite a bit. I abuse it, and it hasn't let me down. I've only been carrying this for a couple, 3 months now. But excellent, excellent. Like, I've gone through so many knives that can't take this abuse. So, as a tool, I'm going to go 475. 475 as a tool. Like, this is excellent, excellent. Can't use the handle as a hammer. I mean, you know, it's kind of like red, green. Any tool could be the right tool, but not quite in this instance. So 475. As a self-defense implement, I mean, you got a 7-inch blade, one fully serrated, one regular, double-sided. Now, it's not really meant. It was never designed for such purposes. But, like, if you're in a garden and a badger's coming at you, this is a lot better than harsh words and stern looks, okay? So as a self-defense implement, it's even got the handguard to keep your hand from slipping up the blade. Now, it's, you know, when you're digging in the dirt, it's to keep your hand from slipping up the blade. But, you know, you could double utilize that, I suppose. As a self-defense implement, now to me, I always say that no fixed blade knife can get below 2.5 stars as a self-defense implement. Now, we will see, folks. I'm going to challenge that notion in the days, months, weeks, and years to come. But this one, I'm going to give 3 stars. 3 stars out of 5. Like, there's definitely some things that are lacking here in terms of self-defense, but, you know, again, better than harsh words and stern looks. In terms of an overall knife, I'm going to stick with 3 stars here again. 3 stars again, because if you're not outdoors much, this might not really be the knife for you, okay? Like, this is not something, like, it ain't a letter opener. You could open boxes with it, but, you know, you're really using a trowel for opening your boxes. You know, your mileage may vary. But if you are, I'm a bit skeptical. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, here's the weird part. The yes and no questions. Should you add a hori-hori knife to your collection? Yes, absolutely. And this one's a really good one, too. This is an excellent knife. If I lose this knife, will I seek another one? Strangely enough, the answer is no, because I want to explore other hori-hori knives and just kind of get deeper into the general concept of the knife. But now, if I keep this knife for 15 years, I'm not going to replace it. Like, but if I lose it, you know, like, I mean, how many farmers have ever lost a tool out there? Come on, show of hands, show of hands. Yeah, it happens once in a while. So no, I would not replace this one immediately if I lost it. I'd see what I think of a few other companies, but I suspect I'll probably be coming back to this one without much hesitancy. And in terms of should you? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're any kind of outdoorsy type of any kind, this is the knife for you. So folks, all that being said, Thank you for joining us for this very special haughty knife review. Folks, I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and now Twitter as well. Folks, God bless every last one of you. Travel well.
Yes, a haughty knife. A way better Japanese knife than is ever given credit for. Okay, like that's a knife. Oh, thank you, Dave. God bless you too, sir. God bless you. And yeah, great gardening tool because it's got the one standard blade on one side and the serrated on the other, so it really and it swings above its weight class. And for what I mean, you see what I use my knives for, and so yeah, that is the knife for that kind of purpose. So I do truly enjoy that. Now let's see, what do we got here coming up next? Okay. The next review we got for the pre-recorded reviews that we're going to be getting into throughout the evening is one by my good friend Tony G. Now, I'm going to see what any of y'all think. After this review, I'm going to open one of these two. Okay. Now, it's either going to be the tactical tweezer tool or the pocket multi-tool, 7 tools in one by True Knife. Whichever vote gets in first, that's the one we're opening right after this particular review. And if nobody makes a vote, I'm gonna flip a coin on it. But regardless, folks, let's get right into Tony G's review of his Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops knife that he has carried for years. Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation Knife Reviews. Just like so many of you folks, I am on the never-ending journey to find that perfect blade. We're going to grade every blade on a 5-star scale as a tool, as a self-defense implement, and as a knife overall. Also, would we replace this knife if we lost it, and should you add it to your collection? Most important of all, without further ado, let's get to this knife review.
Hey everybody, Tony G here, your 15-time Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion, coming at you at the K.O.E. Nation, giving a everyday knife carry review. Now, Phil's been trying something new, doing reviews of knives, what people carry every day, and I figured this is a good excuse to show you what I've been carrying for probably the better part of a couple of years now, maybe a little longer, and you'll see. Very, very worn, but I have the Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops. It's a little worn out. You can see there's even a little chip right here on the main blade. It does have a pocket holder, which is where I keep it. I keep it on my right side, just clipped into the pocket as such. If you give it a start, you can flip it open pretty easily, which is actually pretty impressive considering how old this knife is. It does have a serrated portion on the bottom half of the blade, which is nice for sawing. The tip is actually pretty sharp. It's a good shape. The blade I like the shape of the blade. I like the functionality. Now to open it, like I said, it's got an easy open. It's got a little nub on both sides, so if you get it started, you've got a spot there to get it started, and then you can flip it open pretty easily. And it does stay open. I've never had a problem with it staying open at all. To close, as you can see, you just push here and you can push it close. Most of the lettering is worn off. This thing is beat up. And I need to upgrade pretty soon. So again, this is Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops. I got this off of Amazon. I want to say about $20. Right now, you can find this on Amazon. I looked before recording this for $15 to $25. So this is not an expensive knife by any means. It's nothing special. This is a great beginner knife. So as a tool, I'm going to start there. I'll be frank, the reason that has a chip in it, I tried to use it as a flathead screwdriver. It did not go well. That's why it has a chip. So got a little bit of a wiggle from that. I've probably done that more than once. So as a tool, I'll give it a 2 out of 5. Like it's gonna be good for cleaning. I mean, in tight spots. It's not a good screwdriver. Yeah, it's got some functionality. Obviously, like I said, it's got the serrated edge. You know, you can carve, you can saw. So, yeah, as a tool, probably a 2 out of 5. As a self-defense implement, now again, it opens pretty easy. It stays closed, and it fits the hand pretty well. Like if you had to hold it like this, as you can see, holding capability very nice. Good spot for your thumb. It's got a rigid edge on the back. If you have to hold it like this, your fingers fit in it very nicely. I honestly, as a self-defense implement, I'm going to give this 4 out of 5. It fits in your pocket nicely. It's discreet. Like I said, I really like this as a self-defense implement. This is a good knife for that, and it's affordable. As an overall knife, I'm going to give this probably, it's lasted me over 2 years, I think. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 as an overall knife. You know, it looks good. It's sleek. The black color. It's a good name. You know, it's quality. It's all metal. I don't know exactly what metal, but yeah, nothing wrong with this at all. It's a good, affordable knife. But for what I do every day, I might be better inclined to use like a utility knife in most instances, or a bigger bladed knife. So if I would replace this once this does break, or I inevitably lose it, one of the two, it's 50-50. For the price point, yeah, I might replace it for the price point, but I may look to upgrade to something a little, not extravagant, but more diverse in terms of being a tool with what I do every day now. And should you buy it? That's a real question. If you need something affordable, absolutely 100%. This is a great knife. The Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops, very affordable, very available. Definitely something you should buy. If you need more of a slice, a quick slice, if you need to like open boxes or cut tape or if you need to cut stuff open, this isn't going to be your best slice. Like you can cut, you can saw, you can poke and stab stuff open, but you might be better off with like a box cutter style or a utility knife with a replaceable blade. So it's really going to come down to what you need to do every day to justify carrying it every day. Price point, you really can't beat it. As a self-defense implement, it's great. Not a great tool, but you know, this has held up very, very well for me over the years. I do recommend it, especially for the price point. It looks good. It's solid material. So yeah, I do recommend it. Like I said, on Amazon, very findable, very affordable. Something I would definitely recommend. It's a good beginner knife. That's a nice way to put it, right? So yeah, not a bad one, but when I do eventually upgrade, I'll be back at you with another knife review. That was my everyday carry until that changes. Thanks for coming, folks.
Excellent. So got a couple of questions here. Bandit's wondering about how do the edges hold. I carried a Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops push button assisted open for years. They can go dull, but they're actually amazingly durable for how cheap they are. And by cheap, I mean inexpensive. A Smith & Wesson knife, if that's all you can make do with, is actually a pretty damn good knife. Okay, for what you're paying, especially like you're not paying much. Like I've got a Smith & Wesson boot knife, which I might actually get into a little later, that I paid $12 for. Okay, still a pretty good knife. Like there's companies that would charge you far more for the same knife. Let's see. Now let's get back into a couple of things. There we go. Now perfect. You got a different model, and as a lot of people do, you broke the tip off of your Smith & Wesson using it as a screwdriver, dremeled an edge back on. You wouldn't be the only one. Yes, because now you've had to sharpen it several times, but I gave Tony a Kershaw, and like a giant piece of the blade just snapped right off. So something to keep in mind. And that review actually will get played a little later because I was kind of shocked by that. But without further ado, we're going to get into a box opening. And yes, folks, you have indeed arrived at this box opening review of the True Knife Pocket Multi-Tool, 7 tools in 1, or as they call the Scarab. The Scarab, there we go, the Scarab. You know, the Scarab or the Scarab, both of them actually, they're both awesome. So, the True Utility Scarab Multi-Tool, here we are, folks. I had you up there. I'm so sorry. So we gotta go from the top. I totally forgot that. You're like, that's the second start over tonight, Phil. You suck. You suck. What the fuck, bro? No, hey. We demand excellence here at the K.O.E Nation. So you have indeed arrived here for this box opening review of the True Utility Knife, the Scarab Pocket Multi-Tool, 7-in-1 tools. And folks, it is I, your King of Extreme, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands. One handsome man, if I do say so myself. And you have arrived here at the K.O.E Nation for this box opening review of the True Knife Scarab. This is 7 tools in 1. According to the box, it is high grade 420 steel, stainless steel even, spring loaded pliers, Phillips screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, non-locking knife, which is huge for some people, wire cutter, nail file, nail cleaner. That's huge because in some states, or specifically New York City, you can't have a locking knife on you. Now, not to be construed as actual legal advice, but that might actually make this allowed in a lot more places. So let's get right into this. And of course, the Spyderco Harpy as the opener for this particular bad boy. Ooh, that was... Oh, that's a smooth cut. That was a smooth, clean cut. Now, what I do like about this is it also includes a little key ring. Yeah, right there. It even says here on the back of the box, free key ring, which is nice. And on the key ring, it says, let's see, what goes around comes back around. And on the other side, nothing. But yeah, it's got these weird little things written on it. What comes around, what goes around. Like, yeah. But hey, free key ring. Free is always nice. So I like the fact that True Knife is, throwing in a little bonus. They did not have to do that. And now we have the tool. Now, anything else worth noting here on the box before this is set aside? Alliance Consumer Group out of Creek Roanoke, Texas. Roanoke. ROADROANOKE, no space, in Texas. So, all righty, there we go. Let's set this aside for a moment. We'll get back into that. Now, this little True Utility tool. So, some of you have probably seen things similar to this, where it's just a tiny little multi-tool, but let's see how it looks. So, okay, that flips. You got to get the little key thing out of the way, but can't begrudge. All right, so that flips down like that. Interesting. After you flip it over, as you can see. So, all right, it's there. You flip that up, flip that down, and then you've got a Phillips head, and you've got a very tiny little knife. Okay, that's something. That's something. And you flip that, and then the spring and the pliers kick in. Flip that down. You've got a little screwdriver and a file with a little hook on it. So that's what the tool looks like when everything is pulled out. Okay, that's everything that you carry with you with this little knife, 7-in-1. And that's actually pretty fascinating. Now, this is definitely super minimalism. Like, this is not something that should be like your first your first tool. Like, you should have some other tools around, but this is a good sort of like last resort, or this is just what you happen to have in your pocket, or this is on your keychain and you ain't got time to get to your toolbox. This is an excellent little, yeah, this little tool could do quite a bit. So, all right, let's see how it closes back up. And that could ride on your keychain, no problem at all, no problemo. So, my first impressions of the True Knife Scarab are positive. Now, I'm going to have to take this out onto the farm and put it through its rounds. We'll see if this little implement can truly hold up to the abuse of my time on the farm. But regardless, hey, not bad. Now, I can't remember what I paid for USD for this, so I'm just going to put that right there. See that? Why, that is reasonable. Not bad. Don't worry, I'll edit that in postscript. It'll seem awesome. That's just between you and me. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So, folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, that has been this box opening and first impressions review of the True Knife Scarab. God bless all y'all. Travel well. All right, folks. We finally got into that. Yeah, I'm going to add this to the keychain and I'm going to put it through its abuses. See what happens. And keep your eyes on this space on that one, folks. So, did you get it for free? It has your name on it. Hang on. Let me look something up. Oh, a scarab, a large dung beetle of the Eastern Mediterranean area. But it's regarded as sacred to ancient Egypt. So I could see where they kind of almost get that like imagery, especially when you do that. Like I could see where that comes from. Oh, a Phillips head. A Phillips head. Bandit. I'm actually a little ashamed of myself for not catching that one. Yeah. The joke was right there and I didn't even catch it. Well done. Well done. But oh, God almighty. God almighty. So that was this initial box opening review of the True Knife Scarab, but we're going to get a little deeper into that one as the time goes by. But we're also going to move onward and upward to a real weird one. Okay. We're going to do two back-to-backs. We're going to do first a $12 Bowie knife, and then the first ever knife review of any knife I've ever done on this channel, which was the K.O.E knife, and it's a knife that I've owned for over 2 decades. So that is probably one of the more exhaustive reviews of any product that you'll ever see on this particular channel. So without further ado, let's get right in to these knife reviews. So the $12 Bowie knife. You have arrived at the K.O.E Nation. Yes, folks, you truly have arrived here at the K.O.E Nation for the unboxing of a $12 Bowie knife? Yeah, folks, Mossy Oak $12 Bowie knife bargain bin at Tractor Supply. Folks, I am your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes you the podcast cower. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, X as well, folks. And I am more than a little curious about this. So on the back here, it says razor sharp clip point blade, brass handguard, full tang construction, durable wood handle, polyester sheath. And I know this is going to be as a very big surprise to a lot of you, but a $12 Bowie knife was, of course, made in China. I mean, who would be at all shocked? It goes, warning, contains lead, may generate dust containing lead. Keep out of reach of children. And also they got to give a reproductive thing because it's got nickel in it, which I wonder if they need to put those on the nickel coins. I don't know. I mean, so I'm a little curious. I know you are. $12. I'm guessing this is made of spoon metal, but it's a 14-inch Bowie knife. So we're going to use, of course, the 1911 cold steel to open this. And yes, it's like a lightsaber through plastic. Just bam, just done. No problem. And like I was always taught, always cut away from yourself, because anything under tension, see? When it's under tension, I kind of overdid that on purpose. I should have thrown this away before the show. I didn't like cherry Pepsi, but the kiddo wanted some cherry Pepsi, so like, fine, we'll have some cherry Pepsi. So, okay. Blade is extracted. Getting the sheath out. Mighty sheath. So, full tank construction, as it says in the front. Razor sharp clip point. Durable wooden handle. All of that, I am sure, is totally true. So, this sheath here, you know, it is what it is. It's just a polyester sheath, which is also, of course, made in China. That's the sheath there, folks. Now, I'm really curious about the blade. This, okay. All right, there's actually some finger grooving here, so it's not just a box that you're gripping. Oh, this is ridiculous. Let's take the tip off there. Okay, it's sharper than I expected it to be. For, let's be frank, this is going to be a spoon metal, stainless steel, just stock metal they had left over at the factory in China. Yeah, I'll make you a Bowie. Like, hear it? There's a little click, but I just tried that a little bit. Now, that might have been the wood, might have been glue, might have been anything. Already loving it. And I didn't put a lot of force into it. Like, hey, you know, for $12, like, can't complain too hard now. Let's see. Okay. Seen better. But, well, folks, the Mossy Oak $12 Bowie knife that was just in the bargain bin at Tractor Supply. There you go, folks. Not exactly razor sharp, neither. But you know what? This is kind of, I could see having some fun, and like this would be a good, like, if you're gonna train against like a piece of wood, you're gonna train certain techniques. This is a knife you're not gonna feel bad about busting up a bit. So we'll see, folks. But as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, that has been this unboxing and first impression of the Mossy Oak $12 Bowie knife. Folks, God bless every last one of you. I hope all of you make it back here to the K.O.E Nation happy, healthy, much the wiser. God bless. Oh. There you go, folks. Actually, one last thing. Let's see how the blade interacts with the sheath. Does it even really hold in the sheath? Hey, it all comes together and it all measures properly. I mean, hey, say what you will about Chinese manufacturing, they've got measurements down at this point. So we'll see how these two hold together in due time. The review is definitely coming. At the bottom pit? No, no. That's a lanyard hole. That's so you can put a little bit of cord in there. So that's how it was in the box before I opened it. But that is actually, no, that's a lanyard hole for if you want to do that. But good observation, Bandit. Good observation. So there you have it, folks. Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E Nation Knife Reviews. Just like so many of you folks, I am on the never-ending journey to find that perfect blade. We're going to grade every blade on a 5-star scale as a tool, as a self-defense implement, and as a knife overall. Also, would we replace this knife if we lost it, and should you add it to your collection? Most important of all, without further ado, let's get to this knife review.
And what a review this shall be, because, folks, I'm here to review the venerated K.O.E. Yes, the K.O.E knife, one of the most recognizable knives in all God's creation. I mean, there it says right there, K.O.E. So this is a legitimate K.O.E, and this is one that I have owned for decades. I bought this when I was, I think, 19 or 20, so I've had this for a very long time. And as you can see, it's been taking a licking, and it keeps on ticking. I lost this knife for like 7 years. It sat in a box in my shop for about 7 years, and then I found it, and I was like, oh, sweet, because I use this for all manner of things. Because to me, what impressed me about the K.O.E the most, I know, like, a lot of people have, like, that's what sold you. You can use the bottom as a hammer. Yep, you can use the bottom as a hammer, and I have many times, as you can plainly see. Yeah, I've used and abused this knife and have given very little consideration to its cleaning. And over the years, there's a little bit of rust on the tip you can maybe see just from general use and abuse. This is the gold standard for knives going forward here at the K.O.E Nation. So I'm going to grade this on a few 5-star scales. 5 meaning you have to have this knife before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. So, fixed blade, formerly United Cutlery, now K.O.E, which apparently the name comes from, like, somebody wrote in a letter that they alleged that they killed a bear with this knife, which, don't get me wrong, it's better than harsh words, but I'm skeptical of one guy's letter. We're going to grade this as a tool, as a self-defense implement, as an overall knife, whether you should add this knife to your collection, and whether I would replace this knife if I were to lose it. So, on a 5-star scale as a tool, I'm going 5. Okay? The hammer sold me, and a friend of mine in the Marine Corps said that this indention here can be used in some sort of fire starting. Fascinating to me. The serrated blades, serrated actually is an added bonus for me. I've always been a fan of serrated edges. I think they do wonders. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan as a tool. I've used this as a tool, and it's been more reliable than some tools. So 5 stars as a tool. As a self-defense implement, the K.O.E has killed a not insignificant number of Nazis during World War II. That's worth noting. Now, to me, just its value as a tool is all I would need to keep this knife in my collection. But as a self-defense implement, you can get a really good proper grip and in reverse grip as well. Again, this is the gold standard, so I'm gonna go 5 stars is a self-defense implement, and I don't throw that out kindly, but it's got the proper length to do really what you need to do if you were ever, and God, I hope you never are ever called to defend your life. In terms of an overall knife, in terms of reputation, recognizability, in terms of its, the thing's basically a sharpened pry bar. Normally, fixed blade knives, I dock points because you have to have some sort of external construction to carry the knife on you. In this instance, this particular polymer sheath, which has lasted, it's done as well as the knife. The sheath is done spectacularly. So, in terms of an overall knife, I gotta give it 5 stars, folks. 5 stars is a knife. Now, should you add this knife to your collection? I would say absolutely yes. And then the more important question, would I replace this knife if I were to lose it? Oh, you betcha. So, folks, this is the gold standard, the inaugural review of the K.O.E Nation knife reviews. And this is the knife that now every other knife has to kind of stack against here, folks. So it's 5 stars all around, and you should definitely pick it up for decades-long review of this particular blade, folks. I hope all of you make it back here happy, healthy, much the wiser. Please like, share, subscribe to the K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and follow me on Twitter. God bless every last one of you folks. Travel well.
Wonderful. Wonderful indeed. We're going to pause that for just a second because we're going to get a little deeper. But Bandit's saying that in Virginia, you can now have out the front spring assisted, but butterflies and brass knuckles are still illegal. Brass knuckles is one of those that you sort of understand, but it is still kind of an antiquated law, no matter how you want to look at it. The out the front assisted, it was time. John Wick kind of made that in vogue, which actually a little later tonight I decided we're going to review a knife that did appear in John Wick. So that's coming a bit later. But yeah, the butterfly knives thing is eventually like, I don't know what the like a balisong isn't any more efficient than any other knife in terms like an out the front or a spring assisted, or even just like this Spyderco that you just flick like that. Like any one-handed operation is going to be tactical as far as some people are concerned. Like, yeah, I know, like to you and me, that's kind of innocuous, but just being able to easily do that. So like New York City hates that. They hate any knife that's easily opened with one hand. Like it's like they're insane about it. Like, yeah, the founding fathers would just be, they would puke on the first page of the knife laws. Okay. There we go. You checked and butterflies look legal. That's probably about right now. In New York, probably not. But again, like everybody, not to be construed as actually legal advice. So yeah, look into it yourself. Your mileage may vary. And that's a good one. It's the 1980s fidget spinner, which is just true. There's no way of getting around that. That's just true. That was the 1980s fidget spinner, was the butterfly knife, which, you know, hey, teach their own. But yeah, it is time. And I've been putting this one off for long enough. Folks, you have indeed arrived here at the K.O.E Nation for this box opening review of True Utility Knife, Tweezer Tool, Small Pocket Knife, and tweezers. So you know what? Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing what we got here. And it's got a free carboner. So, folks, this is what we're getting here tonight here at the K.O.E Nation, which you can, of course, find at YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter-X, depending on your political persuasion on that one. But let's get right into this one without further ado. So, True Knife. Let's see. We got high grade 420 stainless steel, ergonomic grip. That's to be seen. Tweezer handle, black oxide blade, bottle opener, file, and a flat driver, and a little carboner. So this is quite a few little small tools, but it's also tweezers that you can keep on you. And also what I like about True Knife is they include a free little key ring right here. So let's get right into this. And of course, the handy dandy, always reliable Cold Steel 1911 for the box opening. Whew. Just a clean cut. That thing is like a lightsaber through plastic. So yeah. All right. On this particular key ring, the key is happiness. Happiness is the key. They always have some strange little saying on these rings. Oh, I did it again. Well, I'm going to use some of it. I'll just put a logo over it. Don't worry about it. So that is pretty funny. I like that. But let's get right into the main course here, folks, shall we? So before we get into the main tool, let's take a look at this little tiny carboner. It's got some tape in there. And, you know, I could pull it out with my hands, but that is so undignified and so uncivilized when you can just do it like that with a blade. And that's one of the reasons why an everyday carry is necessary, because like ripping into things is seen as kind of uncouth in some social circles. But so this little carboner, let's see what we got here. It screws open. It's little. I feel like if I tried really hard, I could bend this. Not even that. Like I'm not going to do it, but that's interesting. I'm not sure how much I'm ever going to use this, but it's nice to know that they throw that in there. Now, let's get into the main event, if you will. These tweezers. Could these be the tweezers of extreme? We don't know yet. So what we got here, interesting little implement here. As you can see, there's your tweezers, I believe. And then there's a couple of things that screw out. So you got a nice, actually a considerable blade for how tiny this thing is. There you go. You can see that up against my hand, if you will. There, I'm palming it like a magician. But yeah, there's the blade. And then over here, okay, a considerable amount of tools on there, as you can see. I mean, we got bottle openers, we've got box openers, we've got a little flathead. There's quite a few little implements right there. That is fascinating. That is fascinating. And then, most important of all, okay, we got some not great tweezers. But yeah, they could pull a splinter out. These require some force to close, but they work. They do work. I will give True Knife this. Like this requires a lot of force to close it, but it gives a good positive clamp on anything that would be stuck in terms of like any kind of thorn or anything, and you can utilize it while the tools are inside. Okay. Yeah. See, the tools are inside and you can still utilize the tweezers. That's actually impressive. I'm satisfied with that. That is very nice. Now, whether this holds up over time remains to be seen. That's probably how you attach it to your keychain right there, is one of them two little holes. But my initial impressions are skeptically optimistic for the true tweezer tool, but we're going to have to put this bad boy through the proper paces before we give the final judgment on the true tweezer tool. So, folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, that was this review of the true tweezer tool. Box opening and first impressions. Keep your eyes on this space for the full in-depth after I've put this bad boy through the ringer on the farm. So basically, after this thing is utilized to pull out its first thorn, if it's worth half a damn, you'll know, because this thing's gonna be riding in my truck tomorrow. So, folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Please like, share, subscribe to the KOE Nation. God bless every last one of you. Travel well. Okay. We got that. We got that shit. And yes, Bandit, thank you. And I did it again. I left the comment up, but I'll find something to put there. Don't worry. I'll find a way. I'll find a way. So moving right along, like maybe I'll just like put a picture of like one of Tony's weird memes down there or something. Like, fuck it. Why not? Have some fun for once. See if it, why not? So moving onward and upward, folks, we reviewed the K-Bar. Now we're going to get into a couple of knives here. Actually, we're going to get into two knives and a tool. Okay. One of the knives is a philosophy video. One of the knives is one that's deeply sentimental to me. And one is a tool that I think everyone should have on them every single day, because it's that good. All to the KOE Nation. Welcome, one and all, to the because it's that good of a tool. So without further ado, let's get right into this, where we have some spectacular. We're going to start off with a knife that's a little sentimental to me because I picked it up in Colorado with the kiddo. And then we're going to get into a tool that's a must. And then we're going to get into whether a karambit is a knife you even need. So without further ado, let's get right into this shit, folks. Rock and roller. Welcome, one and all, to the KOE Nation Knife Reviews. Just like so many of you folks, I am on the never-ending journey to find that perfect blade. We're going to grade every blade on a 5-star scale as a tool, as a self-defense implement, and as a knife overall. Also, would we replace this knife if we lost it, and should you add it to your collection? Most important of all, without further ado, let's get to this knife review.
How you doing, all y'all? This is an impromptu review out here in beautiful God's country, Colorado, and I am giving you an impromptu review of a South Park bought Smith & Wesson M&P 13 GSL. Folks, I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man makes you the podcast hour. You can, of course, find me at KOE Nation, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter as well. Took a second to get climbed up here and hiked up here, so but Smith & Wesson M&P 13 GSL, excellent little knife. It cost me $30, and I bought it in South Park, Colorado. Yes, so this was a South Park bought knife. I'm here in a slightly different part of Colorado. See if you can guess where. But folks, this is an excellent knife for what you would need for 3.5-inch blade with some good serrations. Smith & Wesson always makes an excellent knife for a decent price. This knife, there's people coming, so I'm going to be real quick and grade it on a 5-star scale as a knife, as a self-defense implement, and as a tool. There is no assisted open. There is a notch here for finger flipping, and there is thumb studs for flipping it open. But there is no spring to assist it. So, as a knife, give this 2.5 stars. It's excellent, but it's just right there in the middle. As a self-defense implement, because of all the things you can kind of grip onto, 3.75. And as a tool, this thing, I can tell, take a licking and keep on ticking. So I'm going to go 3 stars as a tool. So folks, God, this is a beautiful country and this beautiful nation, God's country, USA. God bless every last one of you. Can't wait to find you back here at the K.O.E Nation. God bless. Travel well.
You have arrived at the K.O.E Nation. Well, folks, you have indeed arrived here at the K.O.E Nation for a very interesting tool review of the O-Knife Otisel D1 Titanium Hex Bit Driver, folks. This one I thought was just a fascinating little tool when I saw it online. It's a solid piece of titanium. It's made of, let's see, I got the box right here. It's made of TC4 titanium. It's 42.5 grams, 1.5 ounces. So there's a little bit of heft to it. And what it is that opens up right there. And there's a nice little chunk of hex drives right in there. And here's the what we have here, as you can see, is 4 different hex drives. Well, not hex drives, but different varying drives. You've got 2 different Phillips head screwdrivers. You have another Phillips head. You have the flat head that you're going to need, trust me. And then you have a couple of drives here, like the T6 drive that you need for basically fixing any pocket knife made by, like, most cold steel drives are going to be the T6 drive. And I think a few might be this other drive on a couple of other knives. Like, yes, like this Spyderco. So Spyderco and cold steel, if you have pocket knives on you, this little drive here is indispensable. And then you've got 2 standard Allen wrench size drives. So this little particular tool here, indispensable. And also, if you have glasses, these are great tools for, very impromptu glasses repair rather. Now you got to make sure that you put it in right. You got to load it in, back in, kind of under that little flap there. And then it'll fall right into place. But if you try to just drop them in, it ain't going to work. And then your drives are all nicely stored. And then it flicks shut. And there is sort of a fidget aspect to it as well, if that's something you seek. Now, the one thing that's neat about this is, pouring them back out, there's a bit of magnetic. There's not very strong magnet, but there is a magnet right there. So there's a bit of magnetic power. And then you can also see here, you can fit another one of the drives there. So you have two different options. You can either turn like this, or you can turn like this for, like I said, for pocket knives, small tools, glasses. This is going to be an essential piece of kit. Like, I don't know, like for people in my life that I know don't drink, this might be something that I'm going to consider for Christmas this year. That is pretty neato little thing that I have been really enjoying. The O knife, and of course, folks, it is made in China. But let's see here. This cost me $35. Okay, so it's not insignificant. So is this worth 35 of your dollars? Okay, I'm gonna be frank with you here. For me personally, as somebody that newly has a pair of glasses and also somebody that carries a lot of different pocket knives, this is indispensable. Your mileage may vary though. To me, I'm going to grade this on 4 different scales. 2 5-star scales. For those who don't know, 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. We're going to grade this as a driver set, as a tool. Would I replace this tool if I lost it, and should you add this to your collection? I'm going to say, as a driver, you can't really give it 5 stars because you just can't. But in terms of its portability and its usability, I'm going to have to say 3 stars as a driver set. As a tool overall, I'm going to agree just because it's so portable, and we're a tool using species, so we need our tools to survive. Should you add this to your collection? Your mileage may vary on its usage. Like I said, it's a nice little piece of equipment that I've been carrying on my keychain for a couple of weeks now, and it's come in handy more than a few times. So I would say, as just having this little handy little piece of kit, yes, but your mileage may vary. Would I replace it if I lost it? Definitely, just because I'm getting into knife reviews, and this has all the drives I need for any kind of knife repair for most of the major companies that are available on the American market. So it's indispensable for that, and I'm wearing glasses now. Let's get some comments here. Bandit, when you lose all the heads, it still functions as, yes, when you lose all the heads, it's still an amazing little fidget thing, I hate to say. It both gains and loses points for its novelty. Yeah. But see, the reason I like it is because it's a gift for people who have everything. Okay? Like, if you got that one person in your life that just has everything, this is something you can't find at Walmart. I got it on Amazon, but so it's $35 on Amazon, and it was literally a 2 a.m. purchase. So, folks, that was this review of the O Knife Titanium Drive. Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E Nation Knife Reviews. Just like so many of you folks, I am on the never-ending journey to find that perfect blade. We're going to grade every blade on a 5-star scale as a tool, as a self-defense implement, and as a knife overall. Also, would we replace this knife if we lost it, and should you add it to your collection? Most important of all, without further ado, let's get to this knife review. Folks, you have indeed arrived at the K.O.E. Nation, and we're going all Hollywood because today we are reviewing karambit knives. Yes, the karambit knife. It's the one that you see in all the movies nowadays. They've got the ring up here, the handle, and they're all doing the underhanded, exclusively slash attacks, you will notice, because, well, this doesn't lend itself to stabbing too easily, which is kind of the easy thing that you do with the knife, is like, this is sort of like the most natural motion, if you will. And the reason I am reviewing this, which is a GW Good Works, Good Works, Your Life, Your Knife, karambit knife for martial arts. New. It is manufactured in China. GrandWayKnives.com, and that's all the box tells you. Now, make some room. Throw that away. The reason that I'm reviewing a karambit tonight, and a fairly inexpensive one, this one cost me $12. It's the Velociraptor of knives. Yes. But yeah, I got this one for $12 on Amazon. Very cheap. And it's actually put together pretty well, to be frank. And it's to demonstrate something. What a lot of people don't know is the karambit isn't meant to hold like this and do all of this nonsense. Nope, that's not what it was intended to do. As a farmer, I can tell you. See? Okay, watch what pinky goes in there. You hold it like this. You go about your farm task. Let it drop. Do binding, like especially for like hay or what have you, or wheats, like do binding. Let it fall. Swing it back. Keep going. This is to allow you to do tasks and then free up your hand at the same time. Literally, like, because you got to remember, and pretty much in all over the world until 50 years ago around here, young children participated in agriculture the entire world over. You take a knife like this and just chip the tip off or just grind it down a bit. You could, in the old times, send a small child out to the field to do work, because literally you just let it hang, do your task, flip it back up, let it hang, do a task, flip it back up, let it hang. Like, this is how a karambit was supposed to be used, as an agricultural implement, okay? Because it can't do this. So it's immediately not going to make the guards in your area all that trepidatious when you're carrying a karambit around. Now, I've seen a lot of martial artists who have all these like systems around, like, and then you get under the arm and then you slash here and then you do that. Like, okay, like that's trying to get the most out of this, but like a karambit is not ideal for any kind of self-defense situation. It's not the first thing I would recommend to anybody. They look cool and you feel like you can do, but really, I mean, this ring kind of makes up for the fact that this isn't where a lot of the strength in your hand is. You got to do a lot of extra training to make underhanded grip work, especially with kind of a forward thrust, because I'm going to use this soon to be reviewed at a later time, this Emerson Kershaw knife here to demonstrate. This is how you should grip most blades when it's overhand. Your underhand grip should be the exact same grip. Okay? Your underhand grip, your overhand grip are the same grip. Like, you can't really pull that off with a karambit here. And that's the one thing that I always try to keep in mind with folks, is that the karambit, while nice and it's kind of a pretty knife and it looks great and it's kind of cool for the movies, and you feel like oh, okay, I'm equipped with the Velociraptor. Like, honestly, like, you'd be much better served with just a standard bladed knife. Now, I have nothing wrong with the ring here. I know some people who carry standard bladed knives with a karambit ring. That's great because that's extra retention. But again, it's also on their pinkies. Like they hook it on their pinky and they use it as a standard blade. So keep in mind, folks, the karambit is a farm implement. It's a farm tool. That's first and foremost. And the second I saw, like, yeah, this is how you would make it work. And yeah, I kind of wish I had one of these when I was a kid. I would have, oh man, I'd have fucked up roguing, man. I would have, like, the tasseling, like, this would have been great. Like, yeah, like it doesn't even poke. Like, I'm sorry, but yeah, this is, during harvest, this, like, this would help in some regard, but definitely tasseling and roguing season. Like, just keep doing your task. Like, oh man, this would be just A+ as a farming implement, but always keep that in mind. Folks, we are going to grade this knife on a few 5-star scales. 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by, the K.O.E Nation has advised you. So we're going to grade this as a tool, as a self-defense implement, as a knife overall. Would I replace this blade if I lost it? And should you add this one to your collection? Here's the thing. Everybody thinks karambits are the ultimate self-defense implement. I don't agree. I really don't. So as a self-defense implement, I'm going to give this 2.5. It's just right in the middle. It's a fixed blade, nice knife. It can definitely make, like, to me, most fixed blades should get at least 2.5 stars as a self-defense implement, and this one gets exactly 2.5 stars. And not really much more. In terms of a tool, like I said, as a farm implement, it's excellent. You can go about your task all day, and it's very, very efficient versus resheathing your knife every time you need to do some task that requires fingers. So as a tool, I give this 3 stars because that's what this is. And that's what this always was. It's just Hollywood turned it into a weapon because it looks cool for the cameras. Like even on this camera right here, contrasting with my dark jacket, it just looks like whoa, like, yeah, it looks threatening. Just so Hollywood really, and also actors love being able to do, like, stuff like that. They love it. They can't get enough of it. So yeah, as a tool, 3 stars. As a knife overall, I'm gonna stick with 2.5. Okay, because it's a good, acceptable knife. It's 440C steel, which is kind of cheap steel, but hey, I got it for $12, and it's to demonstrate something. Would I replace this knife if I were to lose it? I probably would, because I don't know how many examples of a karambit I'm going to keep around. It's just a knife style that I don't really subscribe to. I think it's very overrated. And I think if you were carrying something like this particular Kershaw, or my personal favorite, one of my EDCs, the Cold Steel Spartan, fully serrated blade, I think you'd be far better served with something like that. So I think I would replace this because I don't anticipate keeping a lot of karambits, and I need one as just sort of a proof of type. And should you? Strangely enough, yes, because I think if you've got the bug of getting a karambit, probably don't spend a lot of money. Either want something like this, or Smith & Wesson makes some really good budget folding karambits. And those would probably serve you very well. So don't spend a lot of money on a karambit, because your dollars are probably better served elsewhere. So get a budget version like this. So folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining me for this very special review of the karambit by Good Works Knives and the karambit as a concept. God bless every last one of you folks. Well, all right. Let's see. Osiris looks like a velociraptor tail. That's kind of the whole point. It's just it's a good movie knife, like, which is why people love them, and they're very popular now. I like the second I saw them, I was like, yeah, that's a farm implement. That's what that's for. Because if you hold it like this, you can cut hay, you can cut whatever, and then let it hang, tie it into a bundle, and then go back to work. like I saw it as a time-saving device. That's all this is. There's a reason why militaries don't issue karambits, and it's because its uses are too slim. Too few things that you can do. Sorry. Yeah, I think it's overrated because we didn't find out about it until Iraq, Afghanistan, and it's a fixed blade. Osiris. The degree of the curve throws me off, but maybe, I don't know. Well, the thing is, you can't do that. And this is the most common natural motion of the human arm. With this, yeah. Like, yeah, I don't even need to explain. Like, it's pretty easy to, like, words don't even, like, yeah. Yes. And I don't, let me just say, I do not like the filter that Tony put me through. And yeah, we're standing up here for a little bit, folks. Because why not? It's my show. I get to. How we all doing, you beautiful people? Let's make sure that that's a little more aligned up. Good and proper-fied. This is the expert filming you come here for. But folks, I was going to do the review of this knife, but I'm putting that off because I figured out a way to make it better and funnier. But since you are here and this is my show, we're going to do something a little different. Welcome one and all to the K.O.E Nation for my concept review of the multi-tool watch. Yes, folks. Welcome one and all to the K.O.E Nation, before it is I, folks, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands. One damn handsome man, if I do say so myself. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E Nation, like it says right down there. K.O.E Nation on YouTube, K.O.E Nation on TikTok, K.O.E Nation on Twitch, and K.O.E Nation on Twitter-X as well, folks, all very on brand. But you're here for my review of this particular product and also the concept of it, because there's a lot of different companies that make these. There's this one I got on Amazon for about 29 bucks. I couldn't tell you the company exactly, but what these are is a wristband with a bunch of different tools on it. Now you're wondering, like, why would you want this? Travel. Because think about it. When you hop on a plane and you go somewhere else, you don't have your tools with you. You ain't got nothing. But with this, you at least got some tools with you. Now, you're wondering, well, can you take this on an airplane? I will say this. I took this very wristband with all these tools, and I will get into all these tools here later, with me to Orlando International Airport from Omaha Eppley Airfield. Okay? So Eppley Airfield, got through airport security. They just kind of like, yeah, whatever. And apparently they've seen these before. And I figured, okay, so I got it to Orlando. Now, am I going to get it back to Omaha? That's a different issue entirely. Well, to my shock, went right through. And I was able to wear this onto the airplane. Okay? So I had a little thing to kind of fidget and play with while I was on the airplane, which is huge. You'd think that's not huge, but that's huge. Now, there's all these different hex drives. There's all these different tools, which we're going to get into in a minute. But I remember the whole way to the airport, my dad's like, that thing's going to get confiscated, going to cause a big issue. And when we were standing past the TSA security checkpoint, I was wearing this like, let it just be stated that I was right. I was right. Now, K.O.E Nation, you know how much I hate to say I told you so. You know I am humble in victory. Phil, humble in victory, K.O.E, they'll call me. Okay? That's kind of a noted personality trait of mine. So I was like, you know, Dad, how much I hate to say I told you so, but I fucking told you so. And so now, the thing is, this actually did come in handy because in Orlando, my nephew got a lightsaber, but they needed to get batteries into it. Nobody had a screwdriver. Well, Uncle Phil came to the rescue. Okay, check that out. Screwdriver. So we're going to get into the tools here now because it's actually all listed here on the back, what all the tools are, which is actually pretty handy. Now, it's kind of hard to read them, but we'll get there. So what we got here for tools, folks, is we have Link 6, which has a 1/4 screwdriver drive and a 15/16 screwdriver drive and a 3/8 hex drive. So there you go. Two different wide screwdriver drives and a 3/8 hex drive. Not bad. Then we've got a 3/16 hex drive and then a couple of Allen wrench heads at two different sizes. Let's see what we got here. For sizes, we have 1/8 and 3/32. To our European friends across the pond, this all makes sense. I promise you. I promise you. And then the last link, we've got a, let's see, 8mm hex drive, a 4mm, and a 9mm Allen wrench drive. So we've got your standard and metrics, which are actually nice to have. Now you've got two different Phillips heads and a very tiny little hex drive. Let's see what that says there. And that's a 6mm. Okay, fair enough. Now going on down the line, we've got these two very small flat heads, which do get a lot of mileage, I will say. Like, those are two very essential tools on here. And with any of the tools, you can get it so you can get kind of a pinch grip on all of them. Excellent stuff. So that's, and then a couple interesting ones here. They call this little thing a scribe, so you can like sort of scratch into things. And then this, I actually did get some use out of, box opener. That's now a box opener and a pick. Let's see if you can see it behind. There you go. Very tiny little pick there. And that is a thing that you can open packages. Interesting. And then there's right there, bottle opener. So this is actually a great concept. It's a great thing to have with you, and it'll be a lifesaver in travel. So in terms of a tool, I'm going to give this is going to sound a little over the top, but I'm going to give the concept and this one in particular 5 stars. Because we're a tool using species, and this is one of the few ways that you can keep tools on you everywhere you go in God's creation. Like I told my nephew, hey, we're a tool using species. Without our tools, we die. This was a lesson to you. And yeah, so in terms of that regard, 5 stars a tool because it actually lets you keep tools on you when you go places. In terms of would I replace this if I were to lose it? Absolutely. Should you get yourself a multi-tool watch so you can use it anywhere in God's creation? Yes, you should. Not to be construed as actual legal advice. I always got to throw that one in there. Sorry, in the world we live in, got to throw that one in there. But Your mileage may vary, and sometimes it's just up to discretion. And if the TSA agent you're talking to that day woke up on the wrong side of the bed that morning, they might confiscate. I don't know. But from everything I've seen, they're A-okay with these things. And this will be able to get you where you need to go, having a couple of tools on you. Now, I took one link off of here because I didn't feel I needed it, and it just made it fit a little. Now, I left it a little loose because I want to keep as many tools as possible, but I want it to also fit properly. The one link I took off had oxygen tank adjusters. So if that's something that you need, now the reason I took it off is because the thing that was basically the oxygen tank adjuster also measured within that hex drive. So I think if I needed to, I could use that to adjust someone's oxygen tank if they were like in desperate need of it. But this definitely a must for the traveler on the go that needs to keep a tool or two on you. So yes, I would definitely recommend getting it. So folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us for this KOE Nation review of the Multi-Tool Watch. God bless every last one of you. I hope all of you make it back here to the KOE Nation happy, healthy, much the wiser. God bless all y'all. Travel well. So, folks, I just had to get that one in. Now, we're going to get a little deeper in. There's some reviews that are going to get a little personal here. Little personal. Welcome, one and all. The next two are some really good reviews, and then it's the review of the most important knife in my collection, a gift for my daughter when she was 5. So we're going to get really deep into this. We're probably going to go a little past that one too. Let's see how deep we get tonight. And if you got any questions, drop them. But folks, let's get right into this shit. All right. Rocking and rolling. All to the KOE Nation knife reviews. Just like so many of you folks, I am on the never-ending journey to find that perfect blade. We're going to grade every blade on a 5-star scale as a tool, as a self-defense implement, and as a knife overall. Also, would we replace this knife if we lost it, and should you add it to your collection? Most important of all, without further ado, let's get to this knife review. And this is going to be quite an interesting knife review indeed. This is a review of the Kershaw Cinder. Yes, folks, the Kershaw Cinder, a very tiny little knife. As you can see, I carry it on my keychain because I just wanted to see how this would work. I've been carrying this for a couple of weeks now. And you don't even notice it in your pocket. It really doesn't. It kind of disappears with your other keys in your pocket, honestly. Like you'd think that would be utterly noticeable, but actually, I mean, it doesn't add a whole lot more heft to your keychain. Now, in order to use this knife for anything, you kind of have to have it attached to your keys because otherwise it is truly a 2.5. Like you can barely get that third finger in there. But if you got the keys in there, you got something to grip to. And you can, now this, let's be frank, this is for opening boxes and just like basic work. Let's see, we got here all of the information you'd need on the back there. China, of course, because this thing cost me $9.99, so not too bad. Now, we're going to get to a fairly interesting part of this, the grading. We're going to grade this on 3 5-star scales and 2 yes or no questions. On a 5-star scale, we're going to grade this as a tool, as a self-defense implement, as an overall knife. Would I replace this if I were to lose it? And should you add this to your collection? So, we'll start off as a tool. Okay, as a tool, okay, you can one hand open it if you need to, if you have keys attached to it or something or whatever. All y'all who like to lanyard loop and paracord everything, oh, your day has come. You can make your own little paracord handle. Like, this is your day. You can finally, oh, I can already hear some of you just giddy with excitement. Now, in terms of a tool, I mean,
You got a bottle opener here, which you can utilize for other leverage work if you need to. You got a box opener. You got something that you can do a little bit of limited whittling. If you wanted to do some whittling, actually, you could do worse. Now, in terms of a self-defense implement, let's be honest here. Like, even if you choke down on you grip on the keys and you choke up here and you gain yourself, like, no. This is here. This is a quarter. This is the size of your blade. Okay? Like somebody like doing like a deterrent, like stay away, like please just stay away from me. But there's not really much deadly force here. I mean, you'd have to really, like, John Wick probably couldn't John Wick his way out of a John Wick situation with this. Okay? Like, it would probably just be the first guy. Then he'd have to do some other John Wick stuff, which is totally awesome. Now, granted, John Wick would just be like, just give me that quarter. I don't even need the Kershaw. Just give me the quarter and some extra broodiness, and I'll get the job done. So yeah, like John Wick would find it, like he'd be like, oh, you quarter? I could have got the job done with a nickel. True, it is John Wick. So, as a self-defense implement, I gotta be honest, I'm gonna give it 0.5, a half a star as a self-defense implement. It's better than a sharp stick. Well, I don't know. I think actually a sharp stick would probably be better. It's better than harsh words and stern looks. But other than that, no, this is not a self-defense implement. This is purely a tool. As a knife, because of those reasons, I'm gonna give it 1.75. I wanted to give it 2 or 1.5, but like, no, neither is really fair. I'm gonna give it 1.75 as a knife overall. Now, here's the weird part. Should you add this to your collection? For $9, you could do worse for a bottle opener and little blade. I mean, honestly, I mean, I haven't used the blade for much, but the other day I had to open up a sarsaparilla, and this came in real handy. So, yeah, 1.75 is a knife. Now, should you add this to your collection? I think you should. Honestly, I think you should, but also here's the weird kicker. Would I replace this if I were to lose it? No, because I would want to explore other keychain accessories. And also, if I lost this now at this point, I'm a professional guy. I need keys to get into everywhere. So if I were to lose that knife at this point, I would just, I'd be cursing for a day or two. Let's just put it that way. But folks, all that being said, that has been this review of the Kershaw Cinder. Folks, I hope all of you make it back here to the K.O.E Nation happy, healthy, much the wiser. God bless every last one of you. Travel well.
Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E Nation Knife Reviews. Just like so many of you folks, I am on the never-ending journey to find that perfect blade. We're going to grade every blade on a 5-star scale as a tool, as a self-defense implement, and as a knife overall. Also, would we replace this knife if we lost it, and should you add it to your collection? Most important of all, without further ado, let's get to this knife review. Welcome, one and all, folks, to the K.O.E. Nation Knife Review for a very, very special one indeed, the Japanese icon, the Higo no Kami. So, folks, I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes you the podcast cower. Please like, share, subscribe on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and now follow me on Twitter, folks. But this is my review of the iconic Higo no Kami. There we go, folks. So this is a Japanese knife. It's a tension folder, so it's just the tension that is basically keeping this knife from moving. So very, very basic design that came from the 1890s, actually. So this has been an unchanged design for well over 100 years. And as far as I'm aware, this is also an essential piece of Japanese school equipment for school children throughout a significant portion of the 20th century. This is how they would sharpen pencils, is with a Higo no Kami. So this particular piece of kit has been a well-known icon in the Japanese cutlery scene for, like I said, over a century. So the Higo no Kami, there's different varying sizes. This one I got kind of as a twofer. I got one for my daughter and one I'm going to give to my mom for her birthday. So this video will be uploaded afterwards because my mom watches everything I do. So this will be uploaded after her birthday, obviously. So this is an interesting knife. This particular blade style I'm not too familiar with. This would be probably the first one I've ever had of this style, where in terms of how you would utilize it, like, it is 100% a tool knife, just in every way you would utilize it. Now, I guess that means now would be the best time to get to the grading. For those who don't know, we grade on a 5-star scale. 5 meaning you have to have this knife before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E. Nation has advised you well. So we're going to grade this as a tool, as a self-defense implement, as an overall knife, and whether you should add this knife to your collection, and whether I would replace this knife if I lost it. So, on a 5-star scale as a tool, I have to give this 3.5 stars. This is marvelous as a tool, and just like you need to have some whittling you need to do, if there's just some very fine work you need to do. Again, not that we get through sexual medical advice or legal advice for that matter, but like, if a trained surgeon had to make do and like do a pinch grip up towards on the blade here, I imagine they could probably do something here. So something to keep in mind. I paid about $20 for it, so you really can't complain. And yeah, I could see using it for sharpening pencils. Open like the ultimate box opener right here. So you're going to be able to get into almost any package with this knife. Now, we move on to self-defense implements. Okay. You have this that you could put your thumb on the back here, and you have one choil here that you can put a finger in, but other than that, your hand would slip up the knife. In terms of like maybe a slashing motion, but it wouldn't be very good. So this knife, in terms of a self-defense implement, you would be better served with quite a few other knives. It's better than stern looks and harsh words, but I'm going to give this 175 as a self-defense implement. It's definitely not a first choice. There's a lot better things you could go with. But again, if you have to defend your life, it's better than, stern looks anyways. So I'll give it that. In terms of an overall knife, I'm going to give this 2.5 stars. It's just right in the middle there, folks. It's just a perfect, just middle of the road knife for just all, like, you could open letters, you could cut hoagie buns open with this. There's a lot of things you could do with this that again, like, the brass is antimicrobial, so yeah, keeping one of these in your kitchen probably wouldn't actually be a bad idea, honestly. Now this is going to be kind of interesting here. Should you add this to your collection? I would say yes, you should. If I were to lose this knife, would I seek another one? No, because there's other Higo made knives that I might explore before I get another Higo no Kami. And again, this is a gift for my daughter and one for my mother. So I would explore other Japanese made tension folders by Higo, and I've heard there's a couple other companies that make kind of like the Cadillac Higo. Now, yeah, these tension folders, you really gotta work it loose. I'm trying to get it loose before I give this one to my mom. But yeah, so I'm gonna say yes, you should add this to your collection. No, I'm not going to seek another one because I'd want to look into the bigger one, or I think there's even a mini. And so those I would look into before I would purchase another one of these. So, folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us here at the KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter as well, folks, for this very, very interesting review of the Higo no Kami. God bless every last one of you. I hope all of you make it back here to the KOE Nation happy, healthy, much the wiser. God bless you. Travel well. You have arrived at the KOE Nation. Folks, you have now indeed arrived here at the KOE Nation, which you can, of course, find on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and X as well. And I'm here to review the most important knife in my collection. This was a knife that was given to me by my daughter. She was 5 years old. As you can see here on the belt clip, it says, "I love you, Daddy." On the blade, it says, "Love," oh, there we go. "Love always," and her name. I'll just block that for her benefit. But yes, "Love always," her name. And this is one of my most cherished possessions, if I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, this is one of the most cherished possessions. Because it immediately takes me back to a different time. Because, my little girl, she's growing so fast now. And this just reminds me when she was just my little girl and I was just her dad. Different times. I used to carry this knife with me everywhere for, I want to say 3 or 4 months. And then there was a day where I almost lost it. And I now keep it in a drawer. And I rarely pull it out. I don't use it as a tool, really, in any regard. I mean, it's got a nice serrated edge, as you can see. And the blade is in good condition, but that's not what this knife is about. Like, if I were to go to a desert island and I could only take one knife, it might be this one, and I might not use it as a tool all that often. I'd probably just find a way to sharpen a rock fairly quickly, because I don't like using the word treasure a lot, because it's kind of an overused word, but this is something that I do treasure. Okay, like, don't know how to explain it, and it's something that I always tell to people, especially the children of young parents. The things that you don't even know you're taking for granted now, and especially the things that annoy you now, be the things you miss more than anything down the road. Anything. And it's, yes, more than anything, those will be what you miss down the road. I can't emphasize that enough. Like, I mean, yeah, used to have a little 5-year-old kiddo that would get up all the time and keep me up all night. Now I'd give almost anything for that again. And so that's my advice to anybody who has new children or young children that are under the age of like 7. Enjoy every moment, because it doesn't last. They grow quick. I feel like I blinked a few times, and she's already growing into a beautiful young woman. And that is something. So this knife, I cannot rate because it defies rating. But this is my review of the most important knife in my collection. God bless every last one of you. Travel well. I think that was appropriate, folks. I loved every bit of that. That is the review for this particular blade. Okay. Yeah, I always remember when she gave me this one. And yeah, I carried it with me every day until I almost lost it one day. Now I carry just regular knives that I beat up. But that one, the house is burning down, might be the one thing I try to pull out of here. So that's says I love you, Daddy. I love you too, kiddo. Yes, a very important knife in my collection indeed. One that, like I said, defies rating of any kind. So, folks, we're getting to a special time, but there's one more thing I want to get into. So, folks, you have indeed arrived to the KOE Nation review of the Buck 140, aka the Skinner. Folks, I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands. One handsome man, if I do say so myself. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter. And there, folks, is that beautiful Buck 140 Skinner. Folks, I've had this knife, oh man, at least 10 years. This is one that's just kind of been a part of the collection of Extreme, one form or another. Yeah, since my kid was a wee tot, since time in memoriam, if you will. I won this actually at a banquet with my dad. It was one of those banquets where there's a lot of different little games trying to get you to donate money, and we happened to win a little something. Now this, made by Buck Knives, obviously. Excellent little knife. Now what I like about it is if you look on the back, there's 3 different spines, so you can choke up on it to 3 different levels. Like you can really choke up on this for doing, well, skinning. So this is an excellent, like, small, short work knife. And yeah, if I was skinning a buck, this would definitely work. It's a nice, handy little knife that can really get the work done. Now, this one's hard for me to review because I've had it for so long. Like before I was a knife nerd, this was just a knife I had hanging around the house to just open things or whatever because I happened to win it at a banquet with my dad. So it's really hard for me to give this a rating because this knife has over the years literally done everything. And it's kept its finish well. Now, as you know, here at the K.O.E Nation, we grade on a couple of 5-star scales. 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. So we're going to grade this as a knife, as a tool, as a self-defense implement. Would I replace this knife if I were to lose it? And should you add this to your collection? So in terms of a tool, I mean, just the high choke point, just how everything's skeletonized for minimal weight. The fact that, I mean, you've just been seeing how I've been handling this knife. It's just like so easy to use in the hand. You got to give this 5 stars as a tool. Okay. You have to. People use this to put food on the table. Okay. This is an excellent knife, and they've been using it for that for a long, long time. Now, in terms of a self-defense implements, not great, honestly. I mean, the blade's small. Now, it's better than, I always say, anything is better than sharp, harsh words and stern looks. Should you ever be called to defend your life, I pray that never comes to you. But this knife, better than nothing, but it's very short, and really this little finger groove here, that one little indention, possibly even a choil, depending on who you ask, is really all that stops your hand from slipping up on any kind of like push. But I'm gonna go ahead and say a fixed blade knife just can't get under 2.5 stars generally. So this is gonna be right at 2.5 stars for a self-defense implement because it's a good fixed blade knife. In terms of an overall knife, I give this 4 stars because this is an excellent, like just good utility knife that it definitely don't take up a lot of real estate. Okay. There's not a lot of ounces here. There's not a lot of there. So this is an excellent 4-star knife. Would I replace this knife if I were to lose it? No, I don't think so, because like this knife just has enough memories, and like I just enjoyed it enough that I don't know if I could bring myself to replace it because I've got a lot of smaller knives now. But should you add this to your collection? Yes. Yes, you should. That's a very strange answer for me, but I'm going to stick with that. Yes, you should add this to your collection No, I wouldn't replace this if I were to lose it, though. I know that sounds like a very strange answer, but it's honest because this is an excellent one that I think everybody should probably have in the collection just due to how handy it is. Even if you never use it for skinning an animal, it's still going to be an amazingly handy little blade. So, yeah, I'm sticking with my answers there. Now, folks, your mileage may vary, but this knife, a lot of memories with this blade. Hard to quantify or qualify. So, folks, as I've known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us for this knife review of the Buck Skinner. Folks, I hope all of you make it back here to the K.O.E Nation happy, healthy, much the wiser. God bless every last one of you. Travel well. Ah, excellent, excellent. Now, folks, we have come to an interesting time in this evening. We have come to a point where I must say something. I must do something. Now, spare getting a massive raid of some kind, which I don't see coming, but we are going to. Let's see, what would be the perfect way? We are going to end tonight's entertainment, all you beautiful people. We're going to end it with a little that's a bit of a departure. Tony and Chicken gave me a bottle of god awful gin, and I had to review it. And I'm going to share that god awful review with all of you. So, folks, spare some raid or something, as I'm known to say around here. All that being said, thank you for joining us here at the K.O.E Nation, Big Buckin' Empire, and all of the fun times with all you beautiful people. Now, we're going to end tonight's entertainment. Since you were denied Tony and Chicken tonight, you're getting some Tony and Chicken. Okay, Tony and Chicken are making an appearance tonight. They ain't getting off that easy. Don't think they're getting off. They made me do this god-awful gin. The video just dropped, and I'm going to share that with all of you beautiful people. This terrible fucking gin that Tony and Chicken made me drink. So without further ado, folks, this will be the final video for tonight's entertainment. God bless every last one of you. Have arrived at the K.O.E Nation.
I think I came close.
Now,
Yeah.
I got to say, what I got, it was perfect because, why, it had my name on it.
It did. His name is
Oh.
Private Stock.
It's
they gave me
bourbon
this.
gin,
Yes, they gave me
and
this.
that's all he got.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that was it. That was all I got was it's private stock gin finished in a bourbon cask.
$22 bottle
Wall
of
to
gin.
wall. Dude. 47.5 ABV, so at least it's gonna fucking bite more.
Thanks, wall to wall wine.
Oh, so good. It's what it says on the back. Oh, so good.
That
Like
can't
the
be
letter
accurate.
O.
Oh, exclamation point.
So
Space.
good.
So good.
Yeah.
In 1919, with Prohibition looming, J. Rieger and Co. owned a massive stock of booze that would soon be illegal to sell. Jacob Rieger's son, Alexander, appealed that he had the legal right to transport every bottle in their inventory to his private residence. In 1920, federal judge Ferris issued an order allowing Alexander to take home his, quote, private stock. This bottle of private stock honors the defiant efforts of Alexander Rieger. So that's nice. What does that have to do with a barrel finished gin?
What's going on?
Yellow.
Phil drink.
Oh no.
Fuck you.
Phil gin.
Oh no. This is a live show. And
Tony, go fuck yourself.
Tony
Phil
just
gin.
called in for Phil to drink
I fucking
gin.
hate you, Tony. I fucking hate you. No. I'm
Oh
calling that motherfucker
no.
back. I'm calling that motherfucker back. Okay. All right.
I'm ghosting that.
Oh, that motherfucker. He fucking ghosted me, that little bitch. Okay, I'm trying one more time. You think you're gonna make me take a shot of gin? You fucking bitch. Fuck you. Go get me a glass. I'm not getting up. You kidding me? Fuck off. So, oh, you son of a bitch. No, I'm gonna ghost that till Tony gets back. I'm gonna have to ghost that. You're a piece of shit. Chicken, you're such a piece of shit. You're both pieces of shit. Did I ever mention that?
Yeah. I think you got an important text message, Phil.
I'll look at it in a minute. Well, I guess get ready for a review of this
beautiful gin.
Tony's gonna come back with like a beer stein. Here you go, Phil. Just
Here's your shot
give it a
glass.
couple of clugs. Oh God, gin finished in a bourbon cask. Oh, so good.
Oh, thank God I said that's nice. If you missed out, I got my mug from last year. Tony Hank held on to it for me.
You went all classy for me.
Totally forgot.
So Tony, while you were gone, Chicken, was there something I needed to check?
Well, I tried to call Phil. He wouldn't answer, so I just sent him a message.
Oh, you
I got a
texted him?
text
Yeah.
that says
Let's see.
Phil
Gin.
Jen.
All right. Woohoo! Well, just make it a double then, Phil.
Hey guys,
Yeah, Phil.
fuck you both.
I'm drinking gin.
You know the score.
I do.
Why don't you just
So,
go ahead and review that?
I
Phil?
was just gonna say, if I have to, I'm fucking getting two birds stoned at once with this.
It's a wall-to-wall wine, I think.
Yes, it's a wall-to-wall wine pick.
I didn't buy this at wall-to-wall, though. Now, give me that.
I see
the only place I've ever
I
seen
see other stores tags.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, sometimes I'll see other stores tags on bottles from somewhere else.
I swore I bought this at Louis in Columbus.
Well,
I
folks,
swore.
we're gonna get two birds stoned at once here. Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation for this very special impromptu gin review of a gin that was
I'm excited.
gifted to me by these two guys. I am your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E.,
You need to sound more extreme
the
right
man
now.
of the hour,
Definitely don't sound extreme.
the man
enough.
with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower.
That's right.
And I'm about,
To drink something sour.
yeah.
But it's bourbon gin.
Ginish.
It's bourbonish juice.
So for those who don't know, this is private stock, extra fine gin finished in a bourbon cask by Wall to Wall Wine.
Why don't you get you something
47.
real nice, Clark?
0.5 ABV.
What's it say on the back?
Oh,
so good. So good. So good. So good.
Let's see how.
I've been inclined. Bob, bob, bob. Private stock never tasted so good.
So good. So
But
good.
now the gin is in the glass.
Not yet. Hang on. Let's see if the.
And it was finished in a bourbon cask.
It's actually a pretty good pop.
Yeah, what's
Oh, yeah. It's that bourbon.
Smells
So good.
God. This might be the worst fucking.
It looks like the dirtiest. Oh, my God.
Sweet gin of mine.
Fucking bob, bob, bob. Thank you all to all
I know. God,
wine.
fuck you. Sweet gin of mine.
Fuck, bob, bob, bob.
From motherfucking wall to wall wine. Oh, God. So, first, folks.
C-U-N-T on Chicken's mug.
So, I'm going to give this a nose for this gin.
Please do. I think that's a double.
You see how happy
He sent me
looks right
one.
now?
You sent me one. So, yeah, this is a double.
That looks, yeah. That,
Did you see the smile on his face when he smelled that?
No, I saw the terror.
I've never seen him look so happy.
I don't know about happy.
I
I feel like he wants to hug us both right now.
Absolutely.
want to hug your necks and rear naked. Like, is that what you mean? Like, yeah.
Extra tight.
Let's try to smell something other than turpentine here.
Extra tight, like that thick cork in
You
the
don't
peerless
smell the
bottle.
oak and the vanilla of the bourbon cast.
Everything I'm smelling is a defiance of what.
Oh.
Yeah, it smells like old socks. Okay,
All right.
and turpentine. Try and
Oh God.
Oh Jesus fuck!
you're not really encouraging me to drink this shit, guys.
You were accurate. Old socks.
Holy shit. Oh my God.
Old socks after you've been out like hunting in muddy, wet fields all day.
I thought bourbon would have helped.
No.
Let's find out.
It somehow made it worse.
I don't know
how. Okay. Well,
Oh,
first
God.
we're gonna take a pallet before we take.
Should I get the trash can?
maybe? Oh no, it's just going right there on the floor if it comes out too.
All
So,
right. Where's my
So-
dog?
It's right here.
All right.
so this gin review, you're in K.O.E Nation. Yeah, just smelling it burned my nose.
Wish,
Well, let's
wish
take a
him,
pallet.
wish him luck. I have a feeling I wouldn't have palate that one. I would have just shot it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have tasted it. I think that's gonna make.
I'm
it
hoping
worse.
it's the last time I ever have to fucking review this chicken. Okay, I'm getting two birds stoned at once.
Oh
here.
no, it's not recording.
Fuck you. Okay, it's not as bad as the gin and the turpentine can
Okay.
stuff you got me
All
last
right.
year,
All right.
because that is actual, like, the literal definition of rot gut.
Okay.
This is bad. This is very bad. Okay, but
But it says oh so good.
it is oh so very something.
So good.
So good. So good.
He's screaming it. Can you see it in his face? His
Look at-
face
yeah.
is going, so good, so good, so good.
Look at those tremendous flavors. The robust palate. The
Like just with each second, like my face like twists more like the grand
Yeah.
smiling. So guys, we're gonna grade this on a couple of 5-star scales. For those who don't know, 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil.
Oh, fucking.
0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. So
This is totally going to be a 5.
yeah.
we're gonna grade this as a.
No, you're going to grade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna grade this.
I'm gonna
as-
grade this as a cask aged spirit. As a gin,
Mhm.
it's shelving, and the secret 4th question.
Okay.
So,
That's a gin, Phil.
well, first we're gonna go as a cask aged spirit.
It's all in its casking, right?
This is gonna actually hold a distinction
Oh boy.
in K.O.E Nation history.
Okay.
Mm.
As a cask aged spirit, this is going to have 0.25 stars,
Wow.
a 1/4 star,
Wow. Nice.
the lowest grade of a cask aged spirit in the history of the K.O.E Nation.
That's amazing.
But hold on. It's really close to 0, which is like an O for oh so good.
oh, so good.
So good.
good.
So good.
Mm.
I just felt myself die a little right there. Like I just felt like something deep inside just couldn't.
Oh yeah.
Now, as a gin, I'm just going back like, fuck guys, I'm drinking way more gin than I ever wanted to drink in this life. Why?
You picked this road.
No, I didn't. The fucking big fucking fans.
The
The
road.
fucking assholes that they are.
Sometimes-
They fucking started this.
Sometimes the road picks you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a gin,
picking this.
As a gin, keep in mind it's as a gin.
12 stars.
5 stars as a gin.
Wow.
He loves
Boom,
it
5 stars because
because it's oh so good, so good, so good.
5-star gin.
Now keep in
Never
mind,
thought I'd see the day.
He's
grading on a fucking hell of a curve here, T.
It's like he's still gagging as he's talking.
Yeah, I'm trying to get like gulps down before I gotta put the whole fucker down at the end of all this.
That felt like it hurt.
Okay. Okay, I'm actually gonna kick that back down to 475. There's gotta be a better gin out there somewhere. Ryan Reynolds, save us. Help us, Ryan Reynolds. You're only hope.
Valentine's Day is coming up soon.
So, anyways, the shelving, the top, the middle, or the bottom. Now, guys, I'm curious. Like, if this is your bottle here, which Tony, like, it's a Christmas present,
But it's not mine.
I know it's tempting though.
It was mine for a bit, but now it's yours.
So clearly, it's sat on your top shelf, right?
No, it was on the bottom.
Interesting.
It was just waiting for you
I would make a special shelf on top
of
called
the top.
Phil's top shelf.
Phil's top shelf of gin.
And that's where I'd put it.
Yeah.
It would be just like one of those little floating shelves about this big. That would
Yes.
only hold like 3 bottles of gin.
So
Yeah.
I had no idea these two guys this whole time actually hated me. I thought, like I called you guys friends at some point, but yeah, friends don't let friends drink
Urine
private
colored
stock.
gin.
Yeah, urine colored
But it's
gin.
bourbon cask.
Bourbon cast.
And that's
I was
its only
thinking of you.
saving grace.
I was thinking
So
of you.
I'm really wondering, like, okay, here's my problem here. Not the only one, but one of many. So how bad was this gin that when it came off the line, they're like, guys, we got to cask finish this gin to fix it. Like, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck. Okay, like just what
It's
the
the
fuck.
best. It's tremendous.
Well, there's no bugs in it.
That you can see.
So yeah,
They
this would be on my
disintegrated.
bottom. This would be like drink. Like if people just want, like, if I had somebody that was like a true, like a crazy Uncle Mikey shows up and he just needs some booze. Here you go. Will you leave me alone? Like, there you go. That's, or I bet it'd make actually a pretty good gin martini.
See, now you're thinking.
Just because the casking adds a little element that's not normally there. And if you're going to do a Winston Churchill martini, this would be the way to go, because the Winston Churchill martini is they pour the gin into the shaker, they shake it over a giant cube of ice, shake it, pour it into the chilled martini glass, drop an olive in it, and then rather than add the sweet vermouth, Winston Churchill would just bow in the general direction of France, and that was all the vermouth he needed. So basically it was just chilled gin. This would actually work for that.
So this is the longest gin review of all time.
Yeah.
New record.
Yeah. Now,
He loves it that much.
the secret fourth question here. I'm sure Tony's looking it up right now.
Yeah, what's that?
Just content chlorophyll. Or chloroform. There we go. Just somebody looking at their phone. It's just content chloroform, because the minute they're like, oh, he's looking at his phone. Well, I'll look at my phone too. Like, so yeah, have fun editing around that chicken.
Oh, that's all you, big guy.
This is your review.
Okay, good.
You're the one stalling.
There's nothing on here that I will cut out a big bucket, but there's
Yeah.
plenty you will cut out for K.O.E. Because
Oh, God, is there ever? Okay. Secret.
No, I will not buy this again.
How much did it cost us?
It's like $22, $23.
$23. Chicken. Would you buy this if you needed a bottle of gin?
well, from the reaction you're giving me right now about how so good this is, no.
No, because there's so many.
I'll buy you a
gins.
bottle.
Yeah. No,
Fuck
like
you guys.
I gotta.
I hope they do an
Gotta mix it
also.
up.
I hope they do sherry cast finish.
Ooh,
I'll get you one.
yes. Yes.
Fuck you! Just do not fucking defile a cask of sherry by putting this in it, okay, Private
He's right.
Scott?
He's right. as the Lord of the Scottish Highland, Phil K.O.E. implores, no demands that you make a gin finished in an Islay Scotch cask.
Oh my God.
Make it happen.
I'm gonna be hunting that bottle down.
Oh, smoky peated gin.
Okay, I might need that bucket now. Just
All
thinking
right.
about that.
You got about a half a shot there left.
I'm hang on. I'm trying to think of some other
Where are you
things.
putting this on the shelf? So top.
I'm pretty sure he said top.
Top.
Fuck you, guy. I know this is well whiskey that I'm giving away to.
It's not whiskey.
True.
He put
This
a
is
well on his top shelf.
well hooch.
Yeah, his top shelf well.
You can't give this away, could you?
No, actually, if I were to have a card game and people be gathered around, like, all right, here you go, just have at it.
You
However
could
much
leave.
you want. There would be the line at the beginning of the night. At the end of the night, the line would be here.
Yeah.
It would actually be up a little bit.
It might be more, yeah.
So, folks, as I'm known to say around here,
All that being said,
so good, so good, so good.
He's gonna puke.
fucking
Ba,
puke,
ba,
puke, puke. Blowing chunks all over here.
Yeah.
We got some of the finest whiskey in all God's creation in this place.
That's true.
And
I'm drinking this
And
shit.
you're drinking bourbon cask finished gin.
Need to cleanse that a little bit.
But why? Don't you get all the juniper and oak?
And the bottle splashes me in the eye on the way down. It's just like,
Tony, guess what? It just hit.
it's like the
Hour two, chicken.
Oh man.
get this shit away from me.
Okay.
Don't ever bring it near me.
Well, it's going home. with
I
you.
know. Fuck you. But Tony, we don't have to worry about me drinking it. That would imply Big Bucking is going live at some point, so I ain't gotta worry about
That's
it.
fair.
I
That's
ain't gotta worry
fair.
about that shit. Are you kidding me? It'll be fucking March till I take my first shot of that shit. Are you kidding me?
February. Be fair. Be fair.
Oh god.
So good. So
Sorry,
good.
I had to get all the shit you fuckers just slung at me. I get to sling one back. Okay, like
No, that was fair. That was
oh my god, that was terrible. Now,
You
hey,
didn't tell me all the flavors you got.
Yeah, you didn't describe it very well.
bad.
No. Just bad.
What are the flavors, chicken? Bad.
Just bad.
I heard so good.
So good.
So good.
It was so good at being so bad.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that's the stupidest way to ever write that. Oh! Exclamation. So good.
Can't wait to read your Yelp review. Oh, God.
That actually.
I tried to pick something that would like be at least appeasable. I didn't know it was going to be that bad. It was almost a 5-star.
You picked that as appeasable.
Oh, there was worse, Phil.
Oh, I know.
I'm just saying.
But at least those know what they are. At least they know they're worse. Okay?
Tony, at least we know moving forward.
Bourbon barrel gin, maybe not.
Cranberry almond milk gin. Got it.
Dude.
Yeah.
Let's buy our own
Right.
little barrel and make it.
I think we can do that. Let's do it.
Almond milk gin. Oh,
We can make that happen. I got some silk upstairs.
This is gonna get hot.
mm.